Welcome back to the flip side as we do our mama chat with my sister Victoria and me, Miss Tish. We are going to be
Hey
talking
y'all.
about how to help your kids through anxiety. So, um if y'all don't know, COVID has ramped it up. The anxiety statistics in kids is through the roof since COVID. And so I could think we could talk about anxiety in the school system, coming back from it all, um, tips and tricks and things like that. But I'm gonna kick it to you first, Tor. Oh, by the way, that suggestion for talking about helping kids through anxiety comes from Melissa Valerga. So thank you. Shout out, Melissa. All right, Tor, what are your thoughts on anxiety and kids and all that jazz?
I will still start from the beginning.
Mhm.
Everybody knows 2019, COVID was rough.
Yes.
Kids were in kindergarten and then they went to spring break and never came back. Well, that's coming to bite, unfortunately, as of this past year. To me, I know it came to bite them and it came to bite them bad. And it sucks. It sucks bad. This year they actually did their testing. The different form of testing. It when for us Florida people, everybody knows about FCAT. FCAT was huge. Everybody knows about it. And that was our end of the year big test that we are all prepared for. This year, even teachers I asked all year round, nobody knew. The teachers had no idea what they were supposed to be teaching because they just kind of gave them a random amount of stuff to teach, to learn, and something might stick because they didn't know what was going to be on the test, how they were going to be testing. To me, how are you supposed to get prepare kids if you don't know what they're supposed to be learning? They don't know this. They don't know what they're doing. There was no. It was just pure chaos, and that weighed a lot on my daughter bad throughout the year because to her she's like, I'm trying, and I most of the time she really was trying. Like, I'm not gonna lie, the girl, if she not. Some stuff she was into, other stuff she wasn't, but she did try. And even though she was trying mentally, I'm like, you know how many times she cried and I had to comfort her and be like, I know you're doing okay. I'm like, as long as you are getting a little bit, I'm happy. It was rough on her. I mean, she trying to learn things that I went through a lot, but her trying to figure out what she's supposed to learn for these tests, and it was just too much because she didn't understand and she didn't know how to handle it. And I'm over here just like, this is frustrating. Asking the teachers, hey, what can we do? What can I do at home? Just keep reading. That was the main thing that got on my last nerve because I'm like, there's more to it. We all were in school. We were all kids once. I need to know how to help my child do better in school so that way she doesn't doubt herself because that's what she did. She doubted herself. She was like she didn't think that she was smart. She went into this whole I want to be by myself. She was so depressed and it made me angry. It really did. I was mad at schools, mad at the school system, mad at everything. And it made me sad seeing my child cry. And yeah, I was frustrated because at first I'm just like, are you just being lazy?
Mhm.
Nope. The stuff was it didn't make no sense where you send me books that are supposed to be completed from school and there's majority of the stuff ain't even filled out. Didn't make any sense, especially when it's the like half the school year's already over. Didn't make sense. She cried a lot and she even at the end of the school year, like they I I had never heard of 400 kids failing in the whole school and they all had to go to summer school. None of that makes sense. And it didn't even make any sense that nobody really knew what was going on. No one communicated to the parents. No one communicated much of anything. So I'm like, it kind of messes with her. I'm hoping things like she's gonna have a better school year. I'm like, but she went through some dark times, and she's 9 going through depression. Why? 9 freaking out over a test. Why? She should, yeah, everybody freaks out over tests, but no one freaks out that bad. Like it shouldn't break you down to test. Be like, hey, I didn't do good. At least I tried. None of that wasn't what she. That's not where her mind was. Seeing her on the couch, just sitting there crying, cuddled up in her blanket, hurt my heart. And I don't want her to have a fear of every time she sees a test, she's going to, she's gonna spaz out and just lose it. I don't want that for her. I don't want her to think that she can't do it. She's not capable when she really is. So I'm like, this is gone. It's been bad. It's like I have had my issues, and I'm like I'm trying to get through it, but it's tough, especially not knowing how to do it. But I mean, like I doubt so far all I've been doing. I'm like I've been getting in different apps and trying things that she likes and trying to figure out what is easier for her. How does she figure things out? And so far, it's been helping. I mean, her writing is improved. I'm like, yeah, girl, you got this. So that for me is kind of helping, cheering her on, and and lots of trying. I've tried so many things. I'm gonna keep on trying. Doesn't matter. Whatever sticks, sticks. However she's gonna learn, she learns. But I'm like, but I don't know. It's been a little hard. I want to say it's been hard this past year. So this new school year, I'm nervous. I'm nervous. Picking
I
up.
know you had signed up Jasmine for tutoring. She did like the I mean, I don't think there's anything extra that could have been done because she was going to tutoring, you were having her in all of the programs that you could think of. You're research mode, you've been I can't tell you how many nights that I've been on the phone with you and you were helping Jasmine with her homework, making sure that everything was done. And the part that bothers me about testing, because I agree with you, is that like it's supposed to test what you learned from the school year because they need some kind of measurements to see, where you're at. And I get that. But what people take away from it, um, especially if they're perfectionists, which Jasmine is, she doesn't like if something is messed up or she'd rather crumble it all up than turn it in messed up. So especially if you're kind of a perfectionist, or you're very hard on yourself, you could take away instead of this test is showing me what I need to improve on. This test means I'm stupid. They're not testing your intelligence. It's not an IQ test. It's testing, the subjects. But whenever somebody doesn't pass, it doesn't feel like that. It feels like a personal failure. And I know for Jay, he struggled in school. He pulled it up, you know no F's, thank God bless, he's never gotten an F. Well, he been close. you know
I know that one. Mhm.
he's been through. I had him on the Flipside tutoring every time. I'm like, oh, we got a volunteer teacher, guess who's gonna be sitting in front of that computer? You.
I know, and I remember you were so happy. You were just like, "That's what I'm talking about." When his grade went from he took like what I think he had like a D, and it went to and especially math. He improved in math a lot, and you
Yeah.
were so happy.
Well, I will go through his report cards with this. So I have two. I'll tell you for Marcus, school has always come easy to him. Marcus has always been straight E's. And even though he was, first grade, but in kindergarten, Jaden was always, he always struggled in school, and it got way worse after COVID. Third grade, I think, is when he was in when COVID hit, and it was way worse coming from COVID and all of that because we became his teachers and we did not have the patience that I wish we would have been able to exercise because we're working full time and then having to deal with these things, and he's not getting in, you're getting frustrated and blah blah blah. So God bless you teachers out there. You are
Facts.
important.
I praise
and
you guys. Can't do. I'm not a teacher. I'm good.
and and the fact that like after COVID, I don't know, I speaking to teachers, I have a lot of teacher friends. Like kids were buck wild, you know, and
Hmm.
they were in grade levels, but they didn't have the comprehensive. So you have like they have to teach all these things, but the kids aren't really at that level.
Hmm.
And like teachers were quitting. Like Jaden had like four teachers in third grade. Like I'm like, who's his teacher this time? And he had like a roster of just changeover, changeover, changeover that I didn't by the end of the year, I didn't know who his teachers were anymore because
Yeah.
they had quit that many times. And so he did so when I would look at his report card, and I don't want to say in comparison to Marcus's report cards, but I would show Jaden, okay, so this is where you were, and we've come up here, and this is where you were, and you've come down here, so we need to focus on this and that. So I would always try to show him not like, oh, I'm so disappointed in you or nothing like that, but it would be like, okay, this is where we are, and great job. Yeah, I would do like little arrows, arrow up and arrow down. I'm like, you this went up from here. Great job. Now we just need to get it right here and a down. Ooh, this one came down to the danger zone. That's what I call a D. Danger, danger.
I like that. I like that.
And I'm like, so we gotta figure out how to make it go back up. And so I I never wanted to like make a feel. But Marcus for the first time in first grade, I think towards the end, he got, instead of getting all E's, he got all E's, which is excellent or whatever, they're equivalent to A's, and one S, which is satisfactory, which is equivalent to a B or whatever. And he changed it. He didn't think I was going to notice it, but he physically wrote in an E, like just drew like, oh, that's not an S. It's I'm looking like that. Marcus, you changed this too. I don't care that you got an S, for satisfactory. I care that you thought because you never gotten it, like that you felt like you had to hide it. You shouldn't, you're 6, you're 7. You shouldn't feel bad like, oh, I've gotta hide this. Like, no, you don't have to hide it. I need to see that S. So I can tell you great job, even though it's not an E, you did good, and encourage you that, okay, but it did drop from S, so maybe this is something that we can focus a little bit more on. So I hate like the performance, how that, that can make them feel, but I think that if you, I know you do this tour, but I think that, and just in general to anybody watching, that the biggest thing is game planning together, I think, and allowing them to have a safe space that it's okay that you didn't get an A, that it's okay that you got a B. We're shooting for A's. Our goals are the A's. But I know Miss Beverly, she tutors for Flipside all the time. She also helps me with the Bible studies, and she's freaking amazing. Um, she was a teacher for special ed, and she told me this story that I think she heard in college, and this is way worst case scenario, okay, I ain't saying that, but basically there was a student that he wound up getting a B in his college exam. He had all A's and he got a B, and the kid was like freaking out because he got that B. He was like, oh, could I do extra credit, can I do this, blah 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 blah. The professor didn't let him. He's like, nah, you got what you got. And homeboy unalived himself
I remember that
because
one.
it was like he felt like it was a dishonor or disgrace or whatever, whatever, whatever. And I'm like, I never want people to feel like the pressure to be perfect can cause a lot of anxiety. Almost like we call it the flip side, right? Because you have a flip side. People, students or kids that are underperforming feel that self-esteem, hard because they feel like they don't get it or whatever. So underperforming students do feel bad that they're underperforming, but overachieving students also have that like, I can't make a mistake. And the fact is, you can. Mistakes are okay. And I think for anxiety, kids with anxiety, um, like that's one of the biggest things to help them is just to be a safe place for them. That's my honest opinion on that. And the
It's
test,
true.
we have kids on Flipside from, all different states. And once you tell you that when we do best and worst, which is they share their best part of the week or the worst part of the week, or on Bible studies, which is a separate optional night, but they're allowed to put their prayer requests when they're coming into the Bible studies, they can do that. But I can't tell you that like all of the elementary kids that did take testing, that either came up in best and worst or that came up in their prayer requests. So we might not think that the kids feel or care or the this and that and the other, but I promise you they do.
It's the truth. I can tell you that one. Hold on 1 second. Mommy time.
I love lives. So I guess I'll just keep, I'll keep on rolling with it.
Sorry.
Um, no, 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 you're good. Mommy come
But
first.
I'm not gonna lie when I say, remember when I was in middle school?
Mhm.
Remember when I got my first C because I was an AB student and I was like National Junior Honor Society. Got my first C and I had a mental breakdown, like
Mhm.
on the floor, boo-hoo crying.
Mhm.
To me, I failed,
Yeah.
and it killed me because I had never brought one home before because it's a C. Now I'm like, it's not a big deal, but it was to me at back then. And I mean, because I had to, I was like, it's my job to make good grades. I have to make good grades. And now looking back, I'm just like, why did I freak out? To see how schooling is now, I'd freak out. Like they have so much pressure on these kids, especially comparing them. That I've seen so much comparison of how the kids are supposed to be learning now. They need to be faster. They need to learn more. Let's change how they do things. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Okay, it wasn't broke when we were
Ah,
kids. Give me a break because I'm like 1 + 1 = 2. Okay, I'm not trying to do 17 different steps to get 2. That it's easy. Okay, leave it alone. Simple math. Reading. Make it simple. Kids nowadays, I'm like, they're already growing up too fast. You're trying to rush them on trying to get knowledge stuck in their head. You're trying, these are soon to be, these are our future. You don't need them already having like really bad mental breakdowns at in elementary school. That doesn't make any sense. Give them a little like, yeah, you wanna challenge them? Challenge them in 5th grade. Okay, that's before they go to middle school. All power to you. But when they're young, give them a minute. Because right now, I even have freaking anxiety over some of Jasmine's work. I was like, what is I don't even know what this is. I'm over here trying to Google stuff and I'm freaking out because I'm just like, how am I going to explain this to my child when I don't know what this is? And I'm just like, this doesn't make any sense. And it's hard that they're obviously learning more than what we did when we were kids. Well, faster. Like in grade, like kinder,
oh
like
yeah, kindergarten ain't kindergarten. Like the way
because
you
pretty much VPK is kindergarten, and kindergarten is I'm not ready. Okay, just not. I don't care. I'm not ready. I'm like, I already feel nauseous about it, thinking about it. But it's this kind of what we're doing. They need to slow down because these kids, there's been more unaliving in these past years because they can't handle so much pressure. Or and then if somebody and then you don't have obviously that support team, you don't have it because most of them are like, oh, you didn't do good, and it gets in your head because you already think you didn't do good. Somebody else is thinking that you didn't do good, so it's getting in your head even worse, and it's just too much. I'm like, be like, hey, you'll do better next time. You need to see more of that. You need to see more of, and also give them some time to let it marinate. Okay, I'm sorry, they started teaching cursive again this year. Awesome. Shouldn't have taken it away in the first place because you
there you
still kind
go.
of need it. Okay. Because when I ask a 14-year-old to sign something and you don't know what I'm talking about, kind of a problem. Okay. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. But my child did a couple letters. She can write her name. That's it. That was a good week. And that was it. Gotta let things marinate. She doesn't really understand it or know why she doesn't even know what it's called, but she knows she had to do this she can write her name. Hi. And hi, Rainer. This is Rainer, everybody. Hold on. Mommy's.
No, I
But
have to ask. I don't know if they put cursive back in my school. Is it in all schools?
yeah, they brought it out. Apparently, it was last year or a year before, but they brought it back. But it lasted because I know I asked the teacher why they weren't still doing it, and she said because they still had so much for the kid. The kids weren't ready to learn cursive because they were still trying to figure out pronouns and nouns and verbs. I was like,
Dude, I would
because
have. I feel like in today's time, you might as well just throw that out.
honestly, I'm like, I'm not gonna lie. I had to go on Google. I was like, the definition of a pronoun because I was like, I'm not gonna lie. I don't care. I am 32 years old and I am done doing school. I'm not there, so I have to use Google. Google is my friend. Thank you very much. But when Jasmine, it was her first grade year, and I had her in this amazing school. And I asked her teacher because it was after we called them COVID kids because we had no choice. That was the year of COVID, so they were technically COVID kids. I asked her about the kids and how long it would take for them to get it together, pretty much to be on task with everybody. And she goes, honestly, they're going to be that even though they were in kindergarten to first grade, they're going to be 2 years behind because they have to learn the year before, even though
Right.
they're in their right grade, they have to learn the year prior that they missed trying to catch up, and then also learn their actual present year. So they're
Yeah.
going to be behind, and that's terrible.
Yes, and I think I would say probably especially with math, but I guess maybe any subject, but especially with math, you have to know the basics. You got to
Yes.
know addition, subtraction, everything builds.
Multiplication.
If you don't know addition and subtraction, good luck with multiplication and division. You don't know
Pass.
multiplication, good luck with fractions. You don't know fractions, good luck with I don't know what comes out to fractions, but good luck
I know
with
you
it.
missed division.
Like you know what I mean? Like so everything like snowballs. And if
Mm-hmm.
you don't have a good foundation of the basics, how in the heck can you build? You
Yeah,
don't
like what
build
they should
a
have done is honestly hold them back when they came back from when they were in kindergarten. You should have held everybody in every grade when they cut everybody. It would have sucked, but holding them back now, then that year that they missed, so they can actually catch up, then they wouldn't be where they are now because they only would have had 1 year to learn,
I
and
think
that's just
I
my
still
personal
think
opinion.
that I don't know if you were to say that everybody's gonna get held back. Oh my gosh, do you know how many
Well,
parents
every
would have?
people only made it to spring break. What you didn't learn? That was literally that was the first half of school year, and you didn't even get to the halfway point. You was kind of before you got to the halfway point, and they got to spring break. They didn't learn anything, so they technically didn't really finish. They just passed everybody, and most of the
I
kids
know.
that, from what I found out, didn't have. Even though some of them, didn't go to school because they didn't have to. Schools just closed, and just that was it. Mine, unfortunately, did everything online and didn't do anything because it never really went to the teacher because she couldn't even get on school campus to check anything. So that was the whole thing. And so they kind of just passed all the kids. You pass them and grade and say, yeah, you're great. You're good to go for the next year. But how? They don't, there's a whole chunk of stuff that they missed. And now they got to learn it for the first time. And they're technically now officially behind. So I'm like, at least holding them back would have been, for me, would have been, if they would have held her back because of COVID, yeah, I would have been mad at first. But I'm like, knowing what I know now, that would have been better than her thinking that she is dumb when she's not dumb. She's just lacking information that she
Yeah,
missed. And they're glossing over stuff like, yeah, you should already know this already. How do they already know it? She's trying to learn stuff from a whole nother year. She's
yeah,
backtracking and they're skipping over stuff. You don't have enough time to marinate because every school year everybody glosses over stuff you already know, like from the year prior. Like they gave you, oh, you should, since you already know this, we're going to take it to another step, to another level. They don't know that level yet because they don't know what was supposed to be learned in the first place. And that's bad. I'm like, there's a lot of stuff that she should know by now, but she doesn't.
yeah.
And I'm like, and I think because I know I talked to her teacher and she told me, she goes, I've never seen a child who, when you take the new test every year to see where the kids are, where she goes back to the very basics instead of advancing or being right on point. She goes back to the beginning, like she forgot everything. I think they're overloaded. It gets too much, and her mind shuts down. I don't know. That's just me, because it doesn't make sense to me why she can forget everything that she just learned from the first year. But if she didn't learn anything because she had other stuff that she was trying to learn, and then became too much, and it was a blur, then that was it, and she shut down, because she does shut down when she gets
Yeah.
overloaded.
Um, oh man. I think I think this year has been super weird again, because like for me, we were talking about this earlier, but like so Jaden passed his English state test, did not pass his math state test, but passed on all of his report cards. Like he ended the year with like A's, B's, and a couple of C's. Super proud. He was out of that danger zone, okay? And he worked hard for that. But like I never received enough from me. So he passed school the whole year, but one out of the two big tests he didn't. And so I'm like, what does this mean? So I call the school and I just want to like make sure, because I had a dream that he failed, and I hope this dream will come true, God bless. But I had a dream that he failed. So I like literally I was like called school. I'm like, hey, I know he passed on his report card all year, and you guys even gave him the little, you go to the award ceremony, he got an award for fourth grade. But I need to hear the words that your son is will be moving on. So I'm like, oh, they're like, oh man, well, you would know. That's what they told me. They're like, you would know if he failed. Well, I'm telling you that I don't. Please reassure me. They were like,
I'm still
I
trying to
don't
figure
know.
that one out
So
myself.
they literally like the one person passed me to the guidance counselor. I class dojo the teacher. I'm like, someone tell me the words. Yeah, he passed. Can't nobody tell me nothing. So then I go back in the summer and I'm like, you didn't pass the math state test. Like, what is he supposed to do summer school? Because Tori, you brought it up. You were like, Jasmine passed all year, but because she failed the test, the state test, they put her in summer school. Right. So then I went to the school. I'm like, is my son supposed to be in summer school? Because I don't got no notice. And they were like, you would know. I'm like, has somebody check a roster? I need to hear the words.
Yeah.
So I mean, maybe I'm being paranoid because they're saying you would know, but I'm like, I know that he did not pass the math state test. He passed the
How you
English
know somebody
test,
passed? They say you passed.
and
That's how you know.
he passed the school year. But like, somebody tell me, please.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like I feel like a little bit in limbo. I also feel like I'm probably a little crazy because I had that dream, you know what I mean? But like, give me straight, shoot it to me straight. Let me know,
Well,
because if I go to orientation and it's the same grade orientation, like I have to have time to mentally prepare.
yes. Then that, and you're not wrong, because I can tell you right now, I have no idea. I have an assumption, but I have no idea, because Jasmine, she passed the math. She did. I've had a paper that said that she passed the math ELA, which is the
Yeah,
reading thing. Because she had like 17 different tests after the reading thing, just so she could keep trying and trying and trying, so they could keep. I didn't know they did that, but they did. And it said she passed. Her report card said she passed. But she's in summer school, and most of those kids did not pass. So I have no freaking idea, because I asked, and they're, because normally you have a paper, congratulations, you passed. But then I heard this year that they said the teachers actually said it doesn't matter what their grades are, it's what they make on this test. And I said, huh? Why would you base their like, if they're honor roll students and they're bad testers, why would you do that? That's not good. Yeah, they're honor roll and they should be better at testing, but I'm like, this is a new test, and note that they weren't really 100% prepared for, because they didn't know what, nobody knew what was going to be on it. So you gave them a bunch of, it's like, hey, here's some marbles, enjoy and see what happens. No, this is not helping, because they worked hard for the regular grades, and a test that comes out that is you only do for like a week or two. That's it. And that makes then what's the whole point of going through school? If you just had one test to determine if you're going to pass or fail. I don't know if she passed or failed. I have an assumption on what happened, but I have no idea. And I'm like, that paper that says congratulations, you passed is not that didn't mean nothing because she still went to summer school. And with 399 other kids went to summer school, which didn't make no sense.
Yeah,
So
I don't know.
communication, because the teachers didn't have communication with the school board. School board just said, here, just try this thing and see what happens. And no one, so they don't know if anybody passed. Teachers don't know if anybody passed. Because the school doesn't know, teachers don't know. So we don't know, which doesn't help because I got oriented. School's it's August 10th over here. Orientation for Jasmine's on the 9th at whatever time. Ain't no communication. I would like some communication. Let me prepare my child to be like, because I do not want her to beat herself up, because she was already beating herself up at the end of the school year about having to be there with, like, if she fails, she goes, she's going to be there with other little kids. And I'm like, it's okay. You're going to know more than they do. That's all I could really say, because it's kind of the truth, but you're trying something different. If she passed, awesome. We need a game plan. Communication. That's all they had to do. At the last day of school, how you give a report card the very last day of school? That ain't ever heard of. They're giving it the last day of school, so we have nobody to talk to.
Yeah, you got yours on the last day of school. Ours came out in summer.
I got the last official report card on the last day of school with the congratulation paper and picnic paper thingy. I don't want that. I need to know if my child passed. And she, in her grades, she pulled up some grades. I was so happy. I was like, what? Because her grades were struggling all year. This is struggle. This is not an F, but it could have been. But she didn't, but she pulled it out. And they comment, and I was just like, how am I supposed to send it back with a comment and if I can't send it back to you when school's over? It's the last day.
Me and Nina walked and picked up the boys' report cards.
Wait, it came during the summer?
They were at the school during the summer, yes. And so the school basically said, report cards are in, come pick them up.
And nobody at my dang school, even the summer school kids weren't even at summer school. They were at another school for summer school. So
yeah.
See my confusion. I wrote the school this year to ask. I'm like, hey, I just want to just see, and they, you know where they are? Not at school. They said I'm gonna send it to somebody who's gonna be at school one of these days. And I said, huh? But you wrote me. You wrote me back. I just need to know because it'll make me better because I feel nauseous.
Yeah.
I feel so nauseous because having to talk to her and say, I have to let her know what grade she's going to be going to. And I need her, she's either A, going to be happy, or B, she's going to be super sad. But you know what? It's okay. I got to be able to tell her this. I can't just say, when you walk through those doors, it's going to be a shocker. I don't really know what else I'm going to do.
No, like that's what I'm saying. It's great. I need.
They think this is funny. That's what they think. They think this is funny. That's how I feel like somebody.
I mean, literally nobody knew. Like the teacher. I wrote the teacher, the front office, the guidance counselor. Can somebody just look at the computer and tell me what the computer says? Nobody knows. No. You would know. There's oh yeah, you're good. I mean, you would know if you didn't know. I don't.
And somebody told me today, if you check out Class Dojo, with what teacher? Ain't no teacher on Class Dojo because you gotta get attached to a teacher in order to ask them. And I ain't got no teacher. So I'm like, you see my confusion. So I'm like, I don't know. Like this whole thing is just it's been a roller coaster. That's all I can really say. This whole school year has been a roller coaster, and I don't like it.
No,
because Jazz has like been super sad and depressed and not wanting to do. She does not want to do work. She doesn't like it. She doesn't. It was hard to even try to get this girl to read because she was so depressed. She's like, I can't do it. I can't do it. I'm like, yes, you can. You got to try. And I
Yeah.
told her, I'm like, I know I've been helping you for a long time. This is how you do it. She, she herself, she just like the lack of belief in oneself is what
Yes.
really killing me
Yeah.
because I had to, I'm like, I did my homework by myself. and, and to me, it like the struggle that she's going through, I didn't go through it. So it's kind of hard, but it pains me that I can't simplify it more because I'm like I have to pass the baton. I've had to give it to you. I'm like I can't do it. I don't know how to make it more simpler because in my head it's one way. And you can be like, "Okay, do this." And Jasmine will understand you. I like it makes me feel terrible because I can't do it. I'm like,
Well,
I did good in school. Really good. But I can't in my head I can't mentally get there. And I don't know. And I'm like, and it's just something that is hard because I'm like, we all did good in school, but we do, but I'm like, school's hard now. I don't care. It's hard.
well, I know that so in the when I first started school, I was absolutely terrible at school. Like they like my testing was bad, my attendance was bad. I had dyslexia, so writing, reading, math, all the important ones were a huge struggle for me. And I remember that like my stepfather Coy, he had bought like we had this clunky computer and he put like a red rabbit, and so I would play games. They put hooked on phonics. They had me feeling like a complete dunce because I'm doing all of these things to try and make sense. And when I can't pass the game levels, the game's supposed to teach me math. But guess what? I'm getting the questions wrong, so I'm failing at the freaking game. It's supposed to, oh, it's so fun that you won't even know you're doing math. Try losing, you'll know. But anyways, I'm sorry. Okay, came back. I was going somewhere positive with that. I just went back into my.
On a positive note, hooked on phonics helped you. This girl made this woman can read
Well,
a whole
no, no. You
dictionary in
know
like
what
2
helped me?
seconds.
I'm sure Hooked on Phonics probably did help. I don't know, but I will tell you what really helped me. So, when I was in the beginning of school, I was in private school, and they used to have these reading tests. There it would be speed reading from like first through third grade. I was in private school, and they would give you the books, and they were only about yay big, okay, because you're in first grade, right? You're learning to read. They would give you these books. They used to give me like Amelia Bedelia does whatever book. You have you would have like 2 minutes to read the book, and it's thin, and then test on the book. So it wasn't even just like getting through the book, it was about retaining the knowledge. I don't know how these heifers were doing it all around me. I was like, time's up, time's for the test. And I'm like on page 4. I'm like, what? And so I'm testing. I'm like, yeah, I didn't even finish the book. So
That's called Christmas tree. That's what we did when we
yeah,
did. It's called the Christmas tree. You can't do it now, but yeah.
yeah. So I was failing miserably, but when I got put into public school, and it's probably a bad thing about public school, but I was actually a stronger reader than almost everybody there because of all of the failure in my life, because of the speed reading. Like, yeah, I wasn't good when I was put up against the other speed readers because they were actually reading their books, but I wound up actually being good at in the public schools, and I loved reading. I've always loved reading. One of my first memories is reading a book called See Sam Sit. I saw him sit. That's what I saw him do. So I remember reading. I remember that. And I always had like I was into Nancy Drew, the Babysitter Club. I always literally carried around. They're back in style now. Those little backpacks. Those were around when I was younger. 3 books in my backpack all times. When I was in after school program, I had my books with me. The American Girl.
Harry
I
Potter.
was
How big that book is.
always,
You read that. And I said, you're crazy.
always reading. I loved reading. To the point where this dyslexia doesn't matter when I read anymore, because even if I screw up a letter, I understand the whole word. that I can go past it. And so by the time I was in like middle school, I'm reading at like a college level, which was really, really cool. And I really do say that probably wasn't hooked on phonics. It was just more so like the perseverance of like, do it, read fast. You can comprehend this. Read.
Yeah.
But then really finding something that you love to read. Like if you love it, you're gonna want to learn all about it. Just like these kids can sit on and watch like YouTube shorts, and it can be the same doggone short over and over and over and over and over again
Mm.
because they don't care because they love it so much. What's the prime flavor? Like, and you just see the same videos over and over, but you're seeing them from different perspectives. Or even us, like I actually like to watch movie reviews after I've watched a movie to see how other people take in the movie, or that's the same thing as listening to podcasts. If you like something and you like are interested in it, you're gonna be okay with researching it. So if you to me, I would say try to, if you can find the fun, find the fun. Like if Jasmine needs to learn how to read, well, not she knows how to read the basics, but if she needs to improve on the reading, then whoever
And
her
take her to
favorite
a
star is,
library.
I don't know who her favorite star is, her favorite TV show.
She can't keep still with the favorite star thing. She got anybody, a YouTuber. I don't
Yeah,
know.
but she can watch videos and she has the patience to draw and she has the patience for this and that. So it's in her, then you just have to tweak it. Like for Jay, we he found like
Goosebumps.
Goosebumps. This boy done read like 45 doggone books.
That's all
Marcus,
you.
and no, Jay's not a reader, but once he found something he loved, he wants to read it all. Same thing with the manual of Harry Potter. That was what got Emmanuel into reading. He once he finds something he loves, he wants to read all about it, all about it. So I would just say figure out what the heck your kids
She
love.
wants to read at a library because
Now,
I've been trying to
unfortunately for
buy books.
my kid Marcus, he wants to read Piggy, Five Nights at Freddy, and I'm like, look at that. Whoa. Can't read that. Can't read that. How about
One fish, two
how
fish,
about
red fish,
Dr.
blue fish. How
Seuss?
about that? I'm like, I'll take it to the basics. Dr. Seuss,
Yeah,
awesome.
Dr. Seuss.
Yeah, she only wants to read the easy ones. And I'm like, yo. But I did
Yeah,
find out she likes scary. She does like scary stuff, scary books. She likes to read them. She can't watch anything scary, but she can read a scary book. I found that out when I guess online they have their school website thingy. I guess they go and they go online at school and they have to read books and stuff. They gave him a list of books. She said she actually read a book. It was audio, but she still listened and she
mm-hmm,
liked it because it showed the book, obviously flipping pages, but she listened to it and she liked it. And
mm-hmm.
she does like scary, which is surprising to me because a girl can't stand not one thing scary at all, like at all. But it was different. I do want to get her into something else that's like a library, one of those things that still exist
Yeah.
in the world. They do still exist. If people didn't know, they exist. So I want to take her to to a place that I would want to get her a library card because a girl needs a book. I've been buying books. I got a lot of books.
Did you see the movie Lyle Lyle Crocodile?
I
I
know.
think it's actually,
Isn't that the movie that's on Netflix with the
I don't
crocodile,
know.
the talking crocodile?
Yes, it's a
Hmm.
talking, singing crocodile.
I haven't read the book, but I know of the movie. And
Okay. We just took the kids to at the Taekwondo, like they had a field trip to the library. Get the dogs out of here, please. Oh, not the library. They had it at the movie theater. Sorry, guys.
in the movie.
Um, and there was a little 5-year-old boy, and he was like starting to get scared because this is when the crocodile's about to be discovered, and it's like, oh, no worries, this is the singing crocodile. Do 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 do. You don't have anything to be scared about. That scene comes, he accidentally ate a cat. Like, I was not expecting. You have to Google it, like the cat scene, okay? Because like the cat like goes to attack, like, and then it's CGI fish is like, oh, because the alligator's like ah, and the cat as he jumps to attack the alligator, and it's like, oh snap, that's going straight into the mouth. The I was like, don't worry, nothing's gonna happen. I was shocked. I was shocked. I was like,
Well,
see that coming.
I'd be like, the next scene, it won't be bad.
Hold on, my kids have busted in here. I don't know why. They're supposed to be asleep, but oh, good night. Yes. Ooh,
Boys,
go to bed. It's bedtime. And you, up those pants. Put them up. All right. Sorry.
hey,
Life. But I will share something. One of my kids has had a over the last weekend, or not, it was like Friday, last Friday, actually had a panic attack. And I was not there, but I was on the phone for it. And one of my kids has anxiety super bad. He always has. And like you'll see fingertips or but it's not just the nails. He'll bite his fingers so much until they bleed when he gets anxious. It really, really, really bugs me. Like I've cried over his fingers before because they felt like little cheese graters. They're just terrible. He just and anyways, he had a panic attack, which sucks because I've had panic attacks and you don't want that for them. But I happened to like, so he got into some trouble at at this facility, and they called me about it, so I called him, and he was crying and he got upset, and next thing you know he's like literally hyperventilating, and I'm like, breathe, 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 like get me, because I'm trying to yell on phone, was there a teacher? Like I even got breathe. And so I hear like a whole bunch of commotion, and they're like, everybody get away, like step away. And teacher picks up the phone, like your son's having a panic attack. And another teacher picks up the phone and it's like these kids is not being able to breathe. And I hear them trying to coach him through breathing and all this other stuff. Meanwhile, I'm way across town and I'm like, oh my God, I gotta get twice. I don't know what's happening. They put me on the phone with them. And we actually covered this on the flip side once with anxiety, but I was able to, I guess, because I was able to ask him some questions and get some responses. So, like, if you were in the middle of having really bad anxiety or anxiety attacks, like, to the point where you're like really worked up and you're crying and obviously, and you can't focus on your breathing, although he needs to learn that more. Um, I've always taught him to, when he was a baby, or not a baby, but like a toddler, and he was starting to have a freak out, I would take him to the bathroom and I would wash his hands. And what that would do was the water, he would calm down as he washed his hands, because he's and his brain and body, his body's sending a signal of cold water. He's doing something, it distracted him from all of his emotions, and then he was able to sit down, calm down, and I could bring it back out. Now, that was when he used to have like, he was having a temper tantrum. When moving forward, when he would start having really bad anxiety, I would used to walk him out, and we would take a walk around, and I would have him, they do like a grounding technique where you're supposed to use three senses. So you can see something, feel, smell, touch, hear, something like that. And so we would do that until he would calm down, and then he could face it. So we've done it on small scales, but I've seen anxiety with him, but with me, I've never seen him have a panic attack at all, like a panic attack. And at first I thought, is he doing this because he's worried he's in trouble and he's trying to get out of being in trouble? But every single person that was there, every adult on staff was like, no, this, we felt his heart. It was like racing. They were like, we were seconds away from calling the ambulance for him. Like it was not him being dramatic in any way. So when I was on the phone and I'm like, okay, Jaden, tell me, I wasn't gonna say his name. Dog got it. Oh well. Jaden, tell me, what are you seeing? What are you feeling? Do you smell anything? Blah blah blah. And so the teachers were able to take the cue from there. And when he would start, they took him to another room. So they separated him from a place. They changed the atmosphere. And she sat down and she got a book out and she read him a story, but she would make him point out certain things in the book so that his mind could, and body, it would give his,
Okay.
yeah, like kind of like a reset. And when they were done with the book, he was able to breathe again and he was able to walk out. And so, like, for anxiety, again, being a safe place, which you were talking about, like actually cheering and saying it's okay to make mistakes, you're still loved, like you don't have to get an A or an E, you know, we want you to do your best. And it's our job. Like, to me, I feel like if my kid is failing because my kid is not trying, we got a problem. But if my kid is failing and they're trying their best, that's a different problem. That's a problem that we can find that's our job to find a solution. you know do we need more tutoring? Do we need more this or that? Like, that's something we can handle. Like, one is, man, whatever, I don't care, I'm not gonna try anymore, and like that's something inside the self. But there's one, the other one is like, I'm trying as hard as I can and I'm just not understanding. That's okay. I can work with that. Work with that.
Hey, that
But
try is okay as long as you got that trying in there. I'm trying. Hey, you
yes.
said the key words. If you just said I don't care, it's whatever, then you don't care and it's whatever. And that's a problem. And that's a
Yeah.
very big problem. Is why don't you care? You've got to. It's your future. But
Yeah.
I'm like,
That's when I would be mad. If you got an F and it's because you didn't try, I would be mad. If you got
mhm.
an F and it was because you tried but you just didn't understand, or then that's something that I feel is teachable, coachable, correctable, all of that other stuff. But it's okay. We can work together. We're on the same team. But if you're having full blown meltdowns, separate, obviously, the breathing. But again, it's just three senses, three things. Make them list it out, distract, and all of that other good stuff. And manipulation. So when I told you that when he was having temper tantrum when he was like a toddler, and I would wash his hands, I know from my own experience in panic attacks that the only time that I was able to actually beat my panic attack was when I had like a little leaf. This isn't a leaf, it's a piece of gum, honestly. But, well, a gum box.
It's okay. It's blurred out. It's all right. We get the
All
gist.
right. So I would roll it and manipulate it. And that was the first and only time I was able to beat my panic attack. So I had told them to give him a piece of paper to fumble. And then, like I said, they took him to a new room and they read with him and they made him point and they engaged his mind in a different way. And then when we got there, we were able to talk to him about what made him feel this way, and so were the teachers and things like that. Um, and we let him know, and as did the teachers, that it was okay. The biggest thing that we were worried about was his, the panic attack. He still had consequences to face for the trouble that he got into. Like, we're not going to let that slide. But priority number one is your mental health. Priority number two is that emotional outburst or whatever it was that created that situation, and then so forth and so on. So I don't know. I think that just, I guess that's my best advice with anxiety is
Also,
be there.
yeah. And also know that you're not alone. There's countless people have had anxiety.
Yeah.
Countless. Never think that you're the only one going through what you're going through. If you know you have constant anxiety attacks and when in stressful situations, then that are just kind of random or not random, doesn't matter. There are ways, like you said, there are different ways to deal with them, and you can reach out to other people on, hey, if you don't know, if you can't figure out a way that'll get you to snap out of it, to get you to bring you back to reality, because when you're having one, you're not there. I've had it. I don't like the feeling that I get, because I get up here and I'm in here, and it's bad. Just to pull myself away, it's hard, and in some situations it is hard. And I'm like, I'm like, talk to somebody, to other people. Like, if you have a safe person. A lot of people have a safe person. There's a safe space. You have a safe person. Let's figure out how we can get through this, because you got to. You're never ever ever alone, because I'm like, life, you don't, nobody goes through life alone. Even if you think you're alone, you're not. So with school, most of these kids nowadays think they're alone. They ain't alone,
Yeah.
especially with these moms. Sorry, honey, boo boo child. I'm sorry, you ain't by yourself. We right there watching you no matter what, and we see. And if we see something that's out of the ordinary, we are going to call you out on it, because hey, what is going on? Why are you so quiet? Why are you're not being you?
Yeah. And
And
sometimes,
hmm?
you know, I think us parents, we screw up and we don't got it together at all.
You
Like
know,
mom guilt, parent guilt, dad guilt, that is a thing.
we learn every single day, because honestly, parenting is a it's a thing.
that
it's
that's why
a
I think, they say it takes a village to raise a child or whatever, but like don't discount community. You know, there are places that are specifically designed for to be there for families and children. So like obviously Flipside, we're one, but so are like the YMCA programs or guidance counselors that are at the schools. Like if you I don't know what to do with my child, somebody does. Like
yes.
somebody is willing to do it
If you
with
need to
you.
go on Google, it's a thing. It
Yeah.
happens.
Find a resource. If you need a resource, me and Tor, we do
Yeah,
these kind of talk with the kids all the time. We'd be happy
on
to
a
talk.
regular basis. With
Yeah.
this, we already covered this past year, and I mean, I tell you, finding out all these different things, like the kids didn't really know what it was called. They know of anxiety because they know the word. Did they know what it was? No, until they realized that they had actually gone through those very things, that they didn't realize it, but now they know little tips and tricks. They know about anxiety, about anger, about how different situations, and hearing it from them, especially when some of them are our own kids
Yeah.
for the first time, and hearing these things, you're like, hold on, you didn't tell me, because they thought that they couldn't come to us. They thought that they couldn't say anything about it. They didn't need to say about it. Like, it wasn't that big of a deal to us. We're just like, that's kind of a big of a deal. That's a big deal. And I'm like, we are all here to help you. No matter, it doesn't matter who we are, because I'm like, with me, I love my daughter. I try to help my daughter as much as I can. But when I cannot I know I can't get through to her. I'm gonna call my sister, and then I know she can get through to my daughter, because there's just some things that I'm like, kids, they don't really always listen to their parents. There's some things that I'm like, and she knows. I'm gonna call auntie.
Mm,
Call auntie, please.
girl, she be calling. She be calling too.
She really does. I hear earlier she calls, but she loves her auntie,
I know.
and
I
I'm
love her.
like, and I love that, because I'm like, and if something is concerning, like you even said, hey, because Jasmine doesn't like to talk. She doesn't like to put her emotions out there, even though you can see it, but she doesn't like talking, even though she talks a lot, but not her own feelings. Tish, you told me it's she likes, like, she it like because Jasmine will talk. She's like she's gonna talk to me in writing. Like Jasmine did something wrong. I said that she did something wrong, and she looked like she didn't care. And then a few minutes later, she wrote it to me, saying that she apologized and she didn't mean she's sorry for what she did. I didn't say no. I was very happy, even though she didn't say it to me, but she found a way to do it. She found another way to communicate to me. If she can't communicate to me verbally, she's communicating more to me now than she ever did before. And I think that is amazing because honestly, I need communication with her to see what's going on because I don't like when she's down. I don't like when she beats up on herself. I don't like it.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, this was the best thing that you ever said to do. I was like, this is amazing. My child, she talks to me because I was not thinking that she liked me very much, but she does.
I hear you.
I
No,
love
like,
you, mommy.
oh my God. If I had known, Jason, like, I wish I could show you the videos where he just sends me good morning, mommy. Um, no, there are multiple ways, and there are multiple people who do want to help. And if you're a kid that ever sees this, I know this is more so, mom chat, so it's more so like geared to the adults. But if by chance you're a kid that wants to see this, and then look, coming from two moms here who literally spend their time helping families, because Flipside is whoa
Family.
families. Um, Kids, don't hold it in. Don't hold it in. When you hold things up and you bottle it in, you one day you'll explode. Or, like a volcano, you just fizz and shake, and build it, boom, you've erupted. And now it's a bigger whatever. People want to help. Like, don't think that nobody wants. Yes, there are people that do, and you are important, and you have the right to feel heard. And if you are feeling anxious and scared and nervous, well, when you tell somebody else can, they make suggestions, or they can, sometimes you just need to get it out of you, like, let it. I feel so much better. You know, ever felt like that? But like, want to load off. Like, you don't have to hold those loads. You can let it go, let it go. She has
And this
always,
goes towards parents too, because I'm like, we have anxiety. We're not
yeah,
invincible.
yeah,
We have those moments. As parents, more so, we on the same level as the children. I don't care. These are these every days is something different. Doesn't matter. We have our limits, and sometimes our limits are you get to them a lot faster on certain days.
yeah.
So I'm like, we work whether you work at home, you stay at home, or you're a stay-at-home parent, you work wherever, like doesn't matter, male or female. The kids, they have anxiety, we have anxiety. It's gonna happen. We can get through this together. Community
Yeah.
people.
Jay always told it, he was like, if you were meant to do it alone, we would have been put here alone.
Mm-hmm.
He said that you whatever your goal is, like, yeah, you can achieve your goal on your own, sure. But if you had a team, you could do it that much faster. You have people
Yep.
working together. And like, and so I would say find your team. And if you need one, team us. Like,
We're awesome.
but I don't know. What should we have them comment below? I don't think they commented last video, but that's because they don't know. All right, y'all got to watch till the end. All right, we want to know what should be best tips for how you guys deal with anxiety. What's your
Tips and
best
tricks.
tips? Yeah, on schooling, getting someone to care about school. I excel. Beverly swears by it. Miss Beverly.
Yeah, I actually was about to get that for Jasmine just because I'm like I really, really, really I've tried everything else. I'm not gonna keep giving up. Every single year there's something IXL wasn't around, well didn't really have where it is now. So I didn't know about it until Beverly. And I
I
was
have
like, oh,
a
I need it.
well, I don't know if I can say it, but we should we can figure that part out.
Off air. Okay.
Yeah, off air. But yeah, so tell us how you got your kids to enjoy said subjects. How are the tests making you feel? Do you need, someone to talk to and talk with? Because we in it together. And as always, like, share, subscribe, and I guess we'll catch you on the flip side.
Peace.
Ba-ba-ba-bum.